Hi, I'm Novel Mike, and this is my opinion. So let's talk about No Man's Sky. The game is finally out, and I'm going to give my first impressions here, and I may do another video just giving overall impressions at some point once I've gotten further into the game. I'm playing on PC, so it actually came out only a couple days ago, so I haven't had put that much time to it, at least definitely not the amount of time I would have liked to if it had come out on Tuesday with consoles. So first off, let's get the messy things out of the way. The PC port is not very good. It does not run anywhere near as well as I thought it would, especially because I have a fairly high-end computer, and it chugs hard at times. It did definitely help to take it off full screen. Once it's still full screen, but it's like borderless, and quote unquote windowed. And if it's full screen, like I couldn't alt tab, I had to crash the game to get out of it to try to set up the recording stuff. So it's got issues. It definitely does not keep a solid frame rate most of the time, and its struggles seem even at times to just keep up with 30 FPS. But there is that exploration and the idea that this universe that you're in is truly massive. It does feel appropriately massive. You go to certain points on the map, the little key points to find resources or beacons and stuff like that, and sometimes they'll actually zoom out and show you like miles of area to explore. And if you try to do it on foot, you're not gonna get very far. So when you start the game, essentially you load up on a random planet and all your stuff is broken. Your ship's broken, your life support stuff is broken. Pretty much nothing that you've got working is your little laser gun for mining, and you have to go mine stuff in order to basically repair all your ship and everything, so you can actually set off into the universe. There's no real narrative context to it though, so it just kind of starts very abruptly, and I don't think it works very well as an introduction for players because it's just like, okay, here you go, figure it out yourself. It's something I expect from an early release game before they've had time to actually put in any kind of even small narrative. Something like, you wake up on your ship, I crash landed, I don't remember exactly what happened, but all my stuff's damaged, I need to repair it. There's only these little HUD context things in the bottom right hand corner that tell you what you're supposed to be doing at any time, which honestly I find just kind of, I don't want to even have those. I'd rather just get a broad idea from the game on what I'm supposed to do and go from there, instead of just having this thing in the bottom right hand corner at all the times that just tells me what I should be doing next and what still needs fixing. I mean, if you want to give me some kind of checklist I can track and choose to track or not, fine, but I don't know. It doesn't start the way that I really would want it to start, and I don't like how much they waste HUD elements on just random things like that. When it comes to actual gameplay, essentially you go around, you mine for minerals, and then you can sell them on this little global auction thing. Just pretty much a merchant, essentially, and just buy stuff, and you can craft things, assuming you have the right resources, and you can find new... You go to places and you can find new like recipes, essentially, for stuff to make. And you can also find creatures that you can essentially like scope out, I want to say, and if you do that then you get credits which you can use to buy stuff for. I think it's called units or something like that, but either way, it's very reminiscent of other games of its type. There just hasn't been a game that really is this big in terms of scope and scale and what it can do. It definitely does give me a real big, oh hey, go check out this next thing, go check out this next thing, and it always seems to keep making me want to go explore more, and that's a good thing. I do like what I've played so far. When I've been playing it, time has been going by really fast because I get involved with one thing then another, and it's really, really beautiful in terms of like, you have to remember, this made by a small team, and it's all procedurally generated, and everything I've encountered so far on the few planets I've been to has just looked amazingly unique and different, and all the minerals and stuff all pretty much look the same besides different colors to represent what they are, but like the wildlife, the vegetation, all that looks very different. It doesn't have as much in terms of I guess, options for what you want to do. It's pretty much either follow the story or just go explore and do your own thing. And when I say story, I mean follow the waypoints, and the waypoints take you to different places. But there are some unique mechanics in it. There's languages you can learn. I'm been on the few planets I've been to. I've been learning this language called Gek, G-E. Wow, Gek, and you piece things together, and then you can find these monuments, these temples, and it'll ask you questions in that language. And if you've learned enough, you can answer appropriately, and it'll give you different things because of that. Or you can not disturb monuments because they might be bad things there. And it's there definitely feels like there is some depth to it. I just haven't been able to see like what the end point is for any of it. One thing that's really bothered me so far though is inventory space, because it is tiny, and it wouldn't bother me if minerals didn't count as inventory, but they do, and they have a certain amount of each amount. It's like 250 for most minerals, and once you hit that, it takes up another inventory spot. And so, like, one thing I needed right away was plutonium for fuel to get my ship off the ground. And I couldn't find it at first on this first planet I was on. It was very hard to get enough to get off there, and once I did, I was fine. But then I go to the second planet, and I find a ton of it, and I have it, and I get a lot of it because you need it to fly around. But I always use up like 3 or 4 spaces of it, and you can sell stuff and throw it away, but it there's no like storage system to put stuff like that you don't want, at least that I've encountered so far, of stuff that you actually want to like put into storage that you don't need right at that moment. And I found like rare resources that, okay, I could sell this or I could hang on to it, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to use it or when I'll have the right recipe, but I have nowhere to really like put it. And you have inventory space for your suit and for your ship, and neither one of them is very big. You can upgrade them, but it's like one space at a time on your suit, and the first one's free and then it costs money, and that annoyed me because the inventory space is just so small to begin with. And since every single mineral is a different, I mean, there's probably a dozen or more minerals that you collect, and each one of them is a different, essentially, slot on your inventory until it maxes out, and then it's another one. It's very cumbersome, and I don't like that at all. I wish that either minerals were kept separate from your normal inventory, and you could just, have those as some kind of resource that you could always see on your HUD or something like that, or in your menu, or you can manipulate it to the point where you can actually have, and there's probably actually console commands or cheats somebody's already figured out for this on PC, where you can have them stack higher than like 250 of whatever element, so you can have only that one, so you don't have to have just like a ton of one thing. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but overall my impressions are mostly positive so far. It's definitely not perfect. I don't think this is probably living up to the hype for a lot of people, and I think I've seen reviews saying as much, and player comments as well. The reviews on Steam aren't exactly positive right now, but there is something that is truly appealing about it, and it is something I do want to keep playing, and I will keep playing. Now, whether anything comes from that, and I do end up making a second video because of it, I'll let you know. But for now, that's my thoughts. I'm Novel Mike. That was my opinion. What do you think of No Man's Sky? Is it worth it to you, or is it just another one of those games that just doesn't live up to the hype this year? Thanks.